West Midlands Police have referred themselves to their professional standards department for a cover-up after police attended a property and threatened to arrest a 6-year-old who kicked their football into a neighbour's garden. The parent of the child, a social worker for Wiltshire Council, claims a policewoman threatened to arrest his 6-year-old on Saturday, May the 14th, after a complaint was filed about an individual trespassing into the neighbour's property to retrieve a child's football, even though trespass is a civil matter and not one for local law enforcement. Mr. Keri, the child's father, told the local Democracy Reporting Service the police officer initially knocked on his door and had a brief conversation, but then later let themselves into their garden. He said, "I told her I did not have anything to do with the dispute and thought that would be it. I was then upstairs in my room when my wife came in and told me a police officer was in our garden. I went outside and the police officer told me, we have received some complaints from the neighbours about the children throwing a ball going into the property." She then said it was a tall man going into the property and said that I fit the description. Keri added that the police constable also had a description of the child. She looked at my son and said he fit the description. Yeah, well, that old chestnut. I told the constable that it couldn't have been him because he worked a lot of long hours driving to and from Wiltshire and was shocked when the police arrived at his home. He said, "My son with some other children play football in the garden and I know that sometimes they accidentally throw the ball into the neighbours. They will get the ball if it ends up in another house. However, I don't think this is a major issue for the police to come out and investigate. I said to the police officer, at the end of the day, these are children between the ages of 6 and 10. I asked her what she's going to do about it and she told me I need to do something about it. Otherwise she would call social services and remove the children." Wow. I asked her if she was threatening to call them. She said no, but told me if it happened again, she would call them to remove the children. Mr. Keri claimed the police officer told them both he and his son, aged 6, could be prosecuted for trespassing. Mr. Keri told her she could not prosecute a young child. She didn't appreciate the fact that I was challenging assumptions. "But you also forgot to mention, Mr. Keri, that she couldn't arrest you for it either, unless it was aggravated," which clearly, based on the information, it was not. West Midlands Police Professional Standards Department received the complaint from Mr. Keri, but said they've not been able to find the officer, telling him there was no records of a police officer attending the property, although footage from Mr. Keri's house clearly shows a police car parked outside his home. Mr. Keri said he was satisfied after the police called him to apologise for what had happened, but added he was very worried by the incident. A spokesperson for West Midlands Police said, "We've received the complaint and a member of our professional standards department has contacted the complainant. Unfortunately, the officer in question could not be identified. The gentleman was satisfied with our response to his complaint and no further action needs to be taken. We expect the highest standards of..." oh God, word salads. "We expect the highest standards of professionalism from our officers and all complaints are taken seriously." Well, I'll tell you what, I sure as shit wouldn't be happy with an apology. I mean, all police cars can be tracked, and so it wouldn't be difficult to find which vehicle was in the area at the time and date, and then check the logs as to who was driving. But I guess that's just too much hard work for West Midlands Police. Just like dealing with real criminals and crimes. After all, a 6-year-old is going to be so much easier to taser and detain. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will, and until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.